And then we are going to look at Yama and Niyama. What is that? Yama and Niyama, the real foundation of yoga that we ignore. Today, yoga is mostly reduced to postures, flexibility, and aesthetic. Our own self. So we are the sole responsible individuals, entities on earth for our own actions, isn't it? Today, yoga studios often focus on flexibility, body shape, performance. The accessories and aesthetics are sold as much. It's a huge business. But irony is this. People walk into yoga classes with a mat, but rarely with a notebook or intention to learn. Yoga is not about touching your toes. It is about transforming your life. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Jai Shri Ram, Om Shri Matre Namaha. Welcome back to the Clay Studios oil painting vlog number 88 of Sri Vishnu Sahasranamavali. This is a painting that follows the principle of calligram or micrography, using which the 1,000 names of Sri Vishnu are getting painted. While the painting is coming up, I am also trying to make sense of the meanings, understanding the deeper meanings lying underneath these names with the help of scriptures from Sanatana Dharma. Whatever I am learning as an amateur, I am also sharing with you via these weekly vlogs. And each vlog typically covers 10 names and their meanings, and then we traverse into tangential perspectives, taking some examples or storylines from Sanatana Dharma. We have already covered names up to 860 in our previous vlogs. If you haven't checked them out, please do so and come back, because you see me constantly referring back and forth to the previous vlog, simply for the reason of interconnectivity. The more deeper you understand, I think it helps us interpret it also from a personal sense, trying to find perspectives for our questions in our personal life or professional life as well. And I found it so valuable. That's also why I am insisting that you do so. Please take that out and come back. So the plan for today is to look at names from 861 up to 870 and their meanings. And then we are going to look at Yama and Niyama. What is that? Yama and Niyama, the real foundation of yoga that we ignore. Without much ado, let's get on with the names and the meanings first, trying to understand them, starting with 861. 861 is Om Damaitre Namaha, refers to one who gives self-control through objective control, or he who controls and rules people. So the offerer of self-control. So he is giving us a kind of tip to self-control. Let's move on and see more names and meanings. 862 is Om Dhamaya Namaha, refers to self-discipline. One who is also the pertinence when being ruled is also another perspective. So there is self-control, self-discipline. Let's move on to the 863rd name, with this Om Aparajitaya Namaha, refers to the one that is never defeated or who can never be won by his enemies. Why? Can we connect the dots already to the previous sessions, the names? Yes, self-control and self-discipline is a component that is within him. So he who is in self-control and in self-discipline can never be won by his enemies. Does that make sense? Let's look at 864. Om Sarva Sahaya Namaha. One who bears all or everything is another perspective, and there is also another one. His ability includes everything in the world is another perspective. 865 is Om Niyantre Namaha refers to one who commands or he who makes people obey the rules. 866 is Om Niyamāya Namaha, one who causes regulation. He who is not subject to any rules is also another perspective to this. One who causes regulation. This is one of the points we are going to look into in a short while from now. Let's look at 867, which is Om Yamāya Namaha. Refers to the disciplinarian, he who does not have fear of death. Yama is also the name referred to the Lord of Death, Yama. So the perspective is also here, he who does not have fear of death, or he is the disciplinarian. 868 is Om Sattvavate Namaha, one who has pious, or he who is brave and valorous. That is one perspective. Let's move on to 869, which is Om Satvikaya Namaha. Satvikam is a virtue or a guna. Let's see what is the meaning here. In this context, it could be balanced by nature and temperament, or he who is soft natured, Sattva Guna, the way I also guessed. 870 is Om Satyaya Namaha. Satyam refers to truth. So Satyaya Namaha in this context refers to the form of truth, or he who is good to the good people, or he who is available to the good people. With that, we come to an end of the 10 names and their meanings. But we are now ready to get on with the focus on two of these names. What is that? Yama and Niyama, the real foundation of yoga that we ignored. Let's jump right into this topic. So Yamāya, the disciplinarian, one who is beyond the fear of death. Niyamāya, one who establishes order and inner regulation. Interestingly, these two are also the first two limbs of yoga in the system of Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. But there is a problem. Today, yoga is mostly reduced to what? Reduced to postures, flexibility, and aesthetics. They definitely are important in some manner, but the physical aspect, asana that is only one small part of a much deeper system. Let's discover what yoga truly means. Starting with Yamāya, the foundation of discipline. Yama refers to ethical restraints, how we interact with the world. It includes non-violence, truthfulness, non-greed, and self-control. Let's take a look at Bhagavad Gita, Canto number 6, verse 5. Uddharat Atman Atmanam Natmanam Avasadayet Atmaiva Hyatmano Bandhur Atmaiva Ripur Atmanaha. Let's look at the meaning. Uddharat should lift, Atmana by oneself, Atmanam self, na not Atmanam self again, Avasadayet should degrade, Atma self, Eva indeed, He for Atmanaha of oneself, Bandhuhu friend, Atma self, Eva indeed, Ripuhu enemy, Atmanaha of oneself. Let's put this all together. What is said in this verse is, let a man lift himself by his own self alone, and let him not lower himself, for the self alone is the friend of oneself, and it is the self that is the enemy of oneself. How could it be? Our own self. So we are the sole responsible individuals, entities on earth for our own actions, isn't it? So our self can help us, uplift, or pull us down. So it can be an enemy also. How is this a two-edged sword here? It is the inner discipline. Yamāya also means one who is beyond the fear of death. Why? Because a disciplined life aligns with the truth. Modern day reflection is that we may master the complex yogic forms, poses, but do we control the anger? Do we live truthfully? Do we act responsibly toward others, our nature? So this is the important question. These are the important questions. Without Yama, yoga becomes external performance and not inner transformation. And this is also something we connected when we learned about, Aparajitaya Namaha, another name, one who can never be won by his enemies, because there is self-control, there is self-discipline, isn't it? So this is exactly what it is pointing to. Let's move on to the next name, that is NIYAMＡYA, inner regulation. Niyama refers to personal observances, that is purity, contentment, discipline, self-study, surrender to the higher reality, and so on. There are 3 verses in Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, canto number 17, that we are going to go through to look at what exactly this is. And according to these 3 verses, austerity includes purity of body, clarity of speech, and calmness of mind. This is Niyama. Let's look at these verses one by one. Canto 17, verse 14. Deva Dvija Guru Prajna Pujanam Shaucham Arjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsacha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. This is referring to worship of the gods, the twice born, the teachers, and the wise, purity, straightforwardness, celibacy, and non-injury. These are called the austerity of the body. So this verse is talking about what exactly does it mean to have austerity of the body. So being respectful, worshipping of higher divine beings, our teachers, and the wise people, and showing that purity, straightforwardness, and celibacy, and non-injury. Non-injury refers to non-injury to ourselves and also to others. So that is the austerity of the body. So it's not just the postures of the body. Next point is Canto 17 again, verse 50. Anutvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva vanmayam tapa uchyate. This talks about speech. Speech which causes no excitement and is truthful, pleasant, and beneficial, and the practice of the study of Vedas. These contribute to austerity of speech. We talked about austerity of body in the previous one. This is austerity of speech. And what is it? Not trying to get, excitement or the drama in the messages that we are conveying. Trying to be truthful as far as possible, pleasant and beneficial. Pleasant and also beneficial. It should add some value somewhere to others. And the practice of study of Vedas. These are austerity of speech. Right. And the third one, that is Canto 17 again, verse 16. Man prasada saumyatvam maunam atma vinigraha vavasam suddhir ityetat tapomanasam uchyate. serenity of mind, good-heartedness, silence, self-control, purity of nature, these together are called the mental austerity. So, physical austerity, that's the body. Austerity of the speech we talked about, and this is the austerity of the mind. How is it achieved? Being serene in the mind, good-heartedness, maintaining silence as much as possible, wherever, whenever possible, self-control, and purity of nature. So, let's look at the modern day reflection. We live in a world of complete distraction, constant scrolling, comparison, and mental clutter. So, we are exactly doing the opposite of all three things. What is the use of rolling the mat and doing the physical yoga? Niyama actually teaches clean your inner space before trying to perfect your outer posture. So, what yoga has become today? Today, yoga studios often focus on flexibility, body shape, performance. The accessories and aesthetics are sold as much. It's a huge business. But the real irony is this. People walk into yoga classes with a mat, but rarely with a notebook or intention to learn. So the first 80 to 90% of yoga, that is Yama and Niyama, is often ignored. Asana, the posture, is only one limb among the 8. Without the foundation, the structure is always weak. So the real structure of yoga, and this is something we also covered in blog number 18, yoga is an 8-fold path. That's why Ashtanga, 8 angas, parts of yoga, that is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Notice this, the physical body comes third and not first, because we're talking about the asana only after Yama and Niyama, not before that. So the symbolic message behind Yama and Niyama is very clear. Discipline before flexibility. Character before capability. Inner order before outer expression. Connection to today's world. Why does this matter today? Because many modern problems are not physical, they are ethical and mental. The stress, anxiety, imbalance, environmental neglect, social conflict, talk about anything and everything that we are struggling with today, it is all tying up to ethical issues or mental issues. Yama teaches how we relate to others and the world. Niyama teaches how we regulate ourselves internally. If we ignore these, no amount of physical yoga can bring us peace. Real yoga is how we speak, how we consume, how we treat nature, how we respond to challenges. As a closing statement, I would say that the names YAMＡYA and NIYAMＡYA remind us yoga is not about touching your toes. It is about transforming your life. So next time you step into or step onto a yoga mat, ask yourself, have I practiced the Yama and Niyama today? Because without them, your yoga is incomplete. I hope you found this session useful. Please do share your thoughts in the comment section. Until we meet in the next session, stay blessed, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay motivated. Thank you. Bye-bye.